mathematics video. In this video, we'll be looking at how to divide in ratios. So let's get into our first example. The first example says divide 100 into the ratio 3:2. So there's a step-by-step process that I want us to follow here. The first step is, what is the total number of parts? So each of these parts of the ratio refer to the parts. So in the first half of the ratio, we've got a 3. In the second half, we've got a 2. So the total number of parts is going to be 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So that is our total number of parts. And then we want to divide the number we must split by the total number of parts. So the number we must split is 100 by the total number of parts, which is 5. So we do 100 divided by 5, and that's equal to 20. So that means that if 5 units is equal to 100, then 1 unit is equal to 20. So 1 unit is equal to 20. And our final step is to times the value of 1 unit by either sides of the ratio. So if we look on the left-hand side, which is requiring us to basically fetch 3 units, if 1 unit is 20, we are going to do 20 times 3 is equal to 60. And on the right-hand side of the ratio, we are going to do 20 times 2 is equal to 40. And so you can see that by dividing 100 into the ratio of 3:2, that's equivalent to 60:40. The way to double check that is just to make sure that either sides of your ratio adds up to that original value. So 60 plus 40 does equal 100. Okay, so let's apply what we've just learned to do 5 numerical examples. So divide 180 into the ratio of 4:5. So the first thing we're going to do is add up our total number of parts. So 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. And then we're going to find the value of one part by doing 180, so the number that we're trying to fetch, divided by 9, the total number of parts. And that is going to equal 20. Okay, and then we need to times this 20 by either sides of the ratio to find the appropriate division. So 20 times 4 is equal to 80, and then 20 times 5 is equal to 100. And so the ratio 4:5 is equivalent to 80 to 100, and we can verify that because 80 plus 100 is equal to 180. Okay, let's do the same method for the next 4. So the next question is to divide 250 in the ratio of 3:7. So the first thing we want to do is add up our total number of parts. 3 plus 7 is equal to 10. And we want to find the value of 1 unit. So we do 250 divided by 10, which is equal to 25. And then we want to times that 1 unit by either side of the ratio. So on the left-hand side, we have 3 times 25, which is equal to 75. And then on the right-hand side, we have 7 times 25, which is equal to 175. So by dividing 250 into the ratio of 3:7, we have 75 to 175. Okay, so let's continue. So 90 in the ratio of 2:1. So the first thing we want to do is add up our total number of parts. So 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. And then divide 90 into the ratio. So we want to see 90 divided by 3. The value of one part is going to be 30. And then times the value of one part by either side of the ratio. So 30 times 2 is equal to 60. And then 30 times 1 is equal to 30. And so in our ratio is now 60 to 30, and this both adds up to 90. So we've split that accordingly. Okay. The next part, 60 into the ratio 5:3. So we're going to do the same thing. So the first thing we want to do is add up the total number of parts. 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. And then we want to say how many 8s go into 360. So we do 360 divided by 8. You can use your calculator for that, and you can get 45. And we want to times 45 by either side. So the first calculation is going to be 45 times 5, which is equal to 225. The second half is going to be 45 times 3, which is equal to 135. And so by dividing 360 in the ratio of 5:3, we get 225 to 135. and you just want to make sure that this adds up to 360, which it does. Okay, and then we want to divide, finally, 75 into the ratio 4:1. So what's our total number of parts? 4 plus 1 is equal to 5 parts. And then 75 divided by 5. 75 divided by 5 is equal to 15. That's the value of 1 unit. And then we want to times the value of 1 unit by either side of the ratio. So 15 times 4 is equal to 60. 15 times 1 is equal to 15. And we can present that 60 to 15. And if you add these both up, they equal 70. So you may find ratio questions disguised as long form questions. The concept and the working is exactly the same, but we just have to know what it's asking us to do. So, for example, a farmer has 200 kilograms of wheat. He wants to distribute it between 2 buyers in the ratio 3:5. How much wheat does each buyer get? So basically, we're being asked to divide 200 in the ratio 3:5. So we're going to do the exact same method. What's our total number of parts? 3 plus 5 is equal to 8 parts total. And how much wheat do we want to divide? What's the value of 1 part? Well, it's going to be 200 divided by 8. 200 divided by 8 is equal to 25. And then we want to times that by either side of the ratio. So 25 times 3 is equal to 75. 25 times 5 is equal to 125. So each buyer gets 75 to 125. So, one buyer gets 75, the other buyer gets 125. Okay. The next question is, a company has $1,200 to give as bonuses to 2 departments in the ratio 7:5. How much does each department receive? Okay, let's have a look at this. So what's our total number of parts? Is going to be 7 plus 5 is equal to 12. And then if the company has 1,200 to split in the ratio 2:5, what's the value of 1 unit? So we have 1,200 divided by 12, which is going to be 100. And then we want to times this by either side of the ratio. So 100 times 7 is equal to 700. Then 100 times 5 is equal to 500. So one part of the department gets 700. The other part of the department, or the other department in general, gets 500. Okay. The next question, there are 60 tickets for a concert. They have to be shared between VIP and regular attendees in the ratio 1:3. How many tickets does each group get? So total units, 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. How many tickets per unit? So we do 60 divided by 4. That is going to equal 15. And then we want to times that 15 by either side of our ratio. 15 times 1 is equal to 15. And then 15 times 3 is equal to 45. So we have 15 VIP tickets and 45 regular tickets. Okay, the penultimate question. A class of students collected 180 cans for a charity. They decided to give them to 2 shelters in the ratio 2:4. How many cans go to each shelter? So again, same thing. How many total units do we have? 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. How many cans per unit? Is going to be 180 divided by 6, and you should get 30 cans. Okay, and so we want to divide it into the ratio, so we're going to times that 30 by either side of the ratio. So 2 times 30 is equal to 60, and then 4 times 30 is equal to 120. So one of the shelters gets 60 cans, the other shelter gets 120 cans. Add that together, that equals the total amount of cans, so we know we've done it correctly. Okay, so I apologise, this question is split across 2 pages, but we have a chef with 90 litres of juice, and he wants to pack it into 2 types of bottles in the ratio 5:4. So how much juice goes into each type? Well, let's first of all think about how many units do we have. So 5 plus 4 is equal to 9 units. How many litres per unit? Well, we've got 90 litres, we've got 9 units. So 90 divided by 9 is going to equal 10. Times 10 by each side of the ratio. 10 times 5 is equal to 50, 10 times 4 is equal to 40, and so one type of bottle gets 50 litres, the other type gets 40. Okay, so that is basically how we divide a number into a ratio. If you follow this step-by-step process, you cannot go wrong. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I hoped it was helpful.